Hello, come on in and sit down. Let's have a chat. In case you're wondering where you're at, this is the Cozy Sky Knits podcast. My name is Elizabeth. I'm coming to you from Georgetown, Texas, where I live with my mother Nancy and my two senior cockapoos, Sullivan and Griffin. Today is Friday, August 1st. I can't believe it's August already. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you stop in again and catch up with all of the making that we've been doing. If you're new, I am glad to have you here, and I hope that you find something that inspires you. This is primarily a knitting podcast. I do touch on some other fiber adjacent crafts such as needle felting. I have a circular sock machine, some quilting, and a little bit of mismatch of stuff. So grab a drink, come on in and sit down, grab a project, and let's get started. So what are we wearing today? I am wearing my Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits, and this was knit quite a while ago. I think I knit this in 2018, and I made it out of hedgehog fibers singles and kid silk mohair, both in the colorway Juniper. And I think you used 2 skeins of the silky singles and 1 skein, which is 50 grams of the kid silk mohair. The gauge on this is 19 stitches and 46 rows per 4 inches, and I used a US 6 or 4.0 millimeter needle. It's a very large shawl, but it's very lightweight. Take it off. I'm not going to actually keep it on because it's really hot here today in Texas. But it's very large, and I ended up actually kind of tying knots at the ends just to kind of add a little bit of weight to the end so that when I wrap it around my neck, it kind of hangs a little bit better for me and stays in place. But I do get a lot of wear out of this because it is lightweight, but yet it's kind of cozy too once you snuggle up and wrap it all around you. So this color is really pretty. It's kind of like a light gray with some blue and just various colors with speckles in it. And so really you can pretty much pair it with anything. And actually I'm wearing it with a really cute new t-shirt that I got today that's knitting related. That says Gone Knitting, and I think it's super cute. These 3 ladies. So that's what I'm wearing. I'm going to take it off now though because it is quite warm in here. So, and then my friend Sasha over here is also wearing a shawl by Andrea Mowry, and this is the Find Your Fade shawl, which uses 7 different colors. And I made mine actually, I don't think I bought a kit, but I think I followed one that, I don't know if it was the original or just one that I saw in a store. I got this yarn when I was in Atlanta on a business trip several years ago. I think I made this in 2018 as well. But it's all done in hedgehog fiber silky singles, and the colors are Peasant, which starts at this end, and again I knotted this one because it's also quite large. Then it goes into Monarch, Hula Hoop, Zephyr, and the green is Lucky Charm. I think this is Monet, and this kind of turquoisey teal color is Wish. And this Monet is actually probably one of my very favorite colors of hedgehog fibers. I just love the turquoisey with the purple speckling in it. I just think it's really pretty. Monarch is also very pretty, which is this one. I think that's that one, yep. Or no, this is the Monarch. This is, I think this one might be Zephyr, and this is Hula Hoop, this bright neon-y one. Yeah, sorry, kind of mixed up. But anyway, I think it's a very pretty shawl. I made mine very colorful. I get a lot of wear out of it just because it is so bright and cheerful. And it's, again, a very, very large shawl. So don't wrap it around a couple times in order to get it to lay correctly. But yeah, really like that. So those are 2 fun shawls that I have made of Andrea Mowry's. So today I'm going to show you a couple of finished objects that I have, and then I have a couple of whips and also a quilt that I'm going to share with you. So let's get started with the finished objects. I have 2 of them. The first is a pair of socks that I actually made on my circular sock machine. So these are just done in stockinette. I did a picot edge with a hung hem, or a fold over hem, I guess in hand knitting terms, and then just basically a plain vanilla sock. And this was a skein of yarn that I found in my stash, and I couldn't find the label. I had wound it at one point and I lost the label, but I think it's a Lang Yarns sock. I just don't know the colorway on it, but it's quite pretty. It's got some olive green and like almost like a burgundy color, and then kind of a terracotta and a little bit of a pale pink. And then I used just a scrap that I had of a beige yarn for the contrast of the cuff. And yeah, so those are my socks. I used a 60 stitch cylinder for the sock. That's usually a good fit for me. So hadn't done a pair of socks in a while, and so I just had a hankering to crank out a pair, and I usually can do them in about a half hour, which is kind of nice to get a pair of socks, feel accomplished after 30 minutes. And it's fun to keep that. It's a totally different skill set, so it's fun to keep my skill fresh by, you know, cranking out a pair every now and then. So, and I think I said I have an Erlbacher Speedster sock machine. Okay, then the other finished object I have is, I showed last time as a whip, which was a project that I inherited from my friend Phyllis, who has passed away a few years ago. And this is the Summer in Berkeley shawl or wrap, and it's by Linda Cohn. It's a free pattern, and I will link everything in the description below here. And so I finished it. Now I inherited this, and it was probably 3/4 of the way finished. So I just had to, I think I had like a skein and a half left to finish. And I actually think my gauge, I was able to pretty much match the gauge. So what you did is you knitted it's just back and forth, and you do a garter ridge on the edging. There's a few garter rows in the beginning, and then a garter stitch edge, and then the rest is stockinette, and then every so many rows you're doing double or triple wrap before you knit, and then you drop those on the next round over. So it creates these elongated stitches here. And once it was all done, then you fold it, and I actually, you stitch it together to make a poncho. So it actually goes over your head. Let me see if I can put this on. So it kind of goes like this. So, and I actually, instead of like mattress stitching or anything, I did a little bit more of a crochet bind off, or not a bind off, but yeah, like a chain stitch with a crochet hook in order to hook it together, because I wanted that seam to be a little more substantial, because the yarn does have quite a bit of weight to it. Now this is Lang Citrusol, and it is an Aran weight yarn, and it was a ribbon type yarn. A couple people had commented on my last podcast and asked how that was to knit with, and actually I didn't think I would enjoy, but I actually really did. And I think it's because the yarn has some silk content. So it's 50% cotton, 30% modal, and then 20% silk. And so I think that's what gives it the modal, and the silk probably gives it the really nice drape. And it was actually really nice to knit with on my hands. I didn't have any drag. It wasn't hard to maneuver it or anything like that. So I actually really did enjoy the yarn, which I didn't expect to. So that was quite a pleasant experience. So this is going to go off in the mail to my girlfriend up in Michigan, and she'll get some use out of it in the rest of the cooler summer nights, and then into fall. So those are my 2 finished objects this week. I just had 2. I did go to the lake house a couple weeks ago. I think when I posted my last episode, I was heading out that weekend for a trip with my girlfriends from San Antonio to a lake house. My friend Carrie's sister has a lake house in Marble Falls, Texas, or Granite Shoals, Texas, on Lake LBJ, and we had a nice weekend out there knitting. So I took that poncho, and I was able to finish that, along with getting started and working on a couple of my other whips. So why don't we get started with what's on my needles. So my first whip that I worked on at the lake, I had started last episode and showed you just the kind of the cast on, I think the collar, but that is the Tolsta T light or 4-ply. I guess it's Tolsta T by Rebecca Clow, and it's the 4-ply version, which is fingering weight. And I had just started it. I think I was just like up in here when I showed it last time, but I finished all the increases, all the raglan increases and sleeve increases, and joined it in the round. Well, the whole thing is done in the round, but joined it under the, separated for the sleeves and the body, and joined the body back in the round here. And I've knit about this much so far. And I don't know, probably about halfway done with the body right now. And I am knitting this in Suburban Stitcher Summer Sock Base, which is 87% superwash merino and 13% Pima cotton, 437 yards per 100 grams. And it's really a nice yarn. I love it. It's real drapey. I'm knitting a size 3, and I used a size 2 US size 2 needle for the ribbing, which is a 2.75 millimeters, and then a US 4 for the main body, which is 3.5 millimeters. And it's creating a really nice drapey fabric. I love it. It's super soft. This yarn is squishy and lofty, but yet really soft. And I think it's kind of airy too, so I think it's going to really be a good Texas sweater. So I just haven't decided if I'm going to make it short sleeves or 3/4. I don't know. So I'm going to finish the body and then try it on and kind of see what I think I would get the most use out of. I'm kind of leaning towards either maybe like elbow or 3/4 sleeve, but I don't know. We'll see. It's cute. I love it. It's pretty sporty to me. So with the stripes, I don't know. That's what I'm getting. The vibe I'm getting. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm really liking it. And I don't know if I mentioned the colors I'm knitting with are, the blue is the color Cadet, and then the pink is Barbie Girl. So super fun. Nice pattern, very easy to follow, highly recommend. She gives you several different options for different variations. You can do yarn overs instead of stripes. You can do solid. You can, do a bunch of different things, texture, what have you. So it's a really nice pattern. I highly recommend it. So that's my first work in progress. And then I started a new project. So I think 2 or 3 years ago, my friend Melissa and I went to the Dallas Fiber Festival up in Dallas, Texas, and we both picked out yarn for the Andrea Mowry Alpenglow sweater. And we've done this several times. We've picked out yarn and said we were going to knit a project together. And then we have yet to knit one together, really, just the two of us. But we decided that we would start that at the lake house. And Melissa actually started hers a couple days ahead of time. I tried to, but I didn't have much luck getting started because I was really busy with work trying to wrap things up so I could take the day off on that Friday. Anyway, we both worked on it at the lake house, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun knitting it. I am making a size 3, and it's the Elpen Glow. I'll show it to you. I'm making a size 3. It's by Andrea Mowry. The gauge on this is 23 stitches and 38 rows per 4 inches, and I used a US 2 2.75 millimeters for the neck ribbing, and then for the main body it's a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle. And I am knitting this in red stag fiber for this main the neck color here, and this is antique linen colorway, and the it's red stag fibers Highland Sport yarn, which is 100% wool. It's not superwash, but it's really got a nice texture to it. It's a little bit toothy, but it's not scratchy at all, and I really enjoy it. Then my main color, which is this kind of taupey mushroom color, is Aberdeenshire, and the contrast color here is actually Moondrake Fibers Fua Fua base, which is really lovely. It's Surrey and brushed cashmere, I believe, and it's really nice. It's 315 yards per 50 grams, and the colorway is Slate. It actually looks more like an olive green to me than like a gray, which I would think the color slate would be, but I don't know, it works for this. Let's see what else. Then the contrast color that I'm using, the color changing yarn, is Spin Cycle, dyed in the wool in the color Stay Ready. Now, what have I done differently? Pretty much following the pattern, except that the collar is supposed to be 4 inches of ribbing, and then you flip it down and sew it in the inside, so it's a fold over collar. I thought that would be too hot for Texas, so I just knit a couple inches of ribbing, and then I did a tubular bind off, which is nice. Now this has been just steam blocked, it hasn't been wet blocked at all, so this should all smooth out once that's done. What else did I do? I didn't really do too much color management. As you can see, it started out my Spin Cycle. Well, let me backtrack. Melissa's is beautiful. I'll put a picture of hers in here. I think she texted me a picture I can use. I'll get her permission. But hers is beautiful. Hers is very colorful. It's got a really bright purple, lavender purple color, and then a gold. It's so pretty. And so it's really colorful. Mine is very, very neutral, but it's what I needed. I really needed a neutral sweater. It was really hard for me though, watching hers come together with all these gorgeous colors that were just popping, and then mine seemed so dull. But I do really like mine. It just, at the time I was like, it's so blah, it's so blah. But I do think it's beautiful now. Sorry, my bag's in the way here. Anyway, so this color, at the beginning of my skein, was pretty light, and I was worried that I wasn't going to get enough contrast down in this last color work section. So I actually did a little bit of color management, and I split and started knitting from the opposite end of my skein, which got me into this little bit of a darker. And then from there on, I just knit with the skein, which was pretty much into the darks. It's really hard to see all the different color changes here. And then in the ribbing, it started going back to the light. And again, down here, I didn't think I was going to get quite enough changing in here, so I think I split the skein and then started from the other end again and got to the lighter part, and then I did the tubular bind off, which is called for in the pattern. So yeah, so I think I knit maybe a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch longer than what the pattern said, just because I wanted it to hit at my hip bone. So it hits pretty much right at my hip bone or just slightly below it. And you know, it might grow a tiny bit when I block it. But one more thing I wanted to mention about the Alpenglow is that I actually made a mistake on the sweater, and between the first two sections of this color work here, there's a certain number of rows you do, and I inadvertently left out 1 or 2 rows, and it was bugging me. So I noticed it when I was about down here. So I don't know, maybe 4 inches of knitting. I could have ripped back and fixed it. I could have left it because it wasn't a huge mistake. Most people probably wouldn't have noticed it, but the perfectionist in me unfortunately won out. But what I ended up doing is sweater surgery, and I did shoot a little bit of video showing that. So I will insert that here, and you'll be able to see that process. Here's where you can see that I missed 2 complete rows in between these 2 color work sections. I'm going to start the sweater surgery by utilizing 2 long circular needles. I've selected a US 2 because my body of my sweater is knit on a US 4. This smaller needle will make it easier to pick up those stitches all around the sweater. I'm going to insert and pick up stitches along 1 row completely around the sweater. Then I'll skip a row and use the second needle to insert in the row of stitches completely around the sweater again. This is the very same process that you use if you've ever knit an afterthought heel on a sock, except that when you do the afterthought heel, you're only going around half of the sock and not all the way around like you are on the sweater. So you can see here I've now finished inserting the first needle around the entire sweater. Now I'm going to use the second needle and I will insert it skipping a row and then pick up the stitches on that second row all the way around the sweater as well. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I have inserted both needles around the sweater with a row in between. I've also applied 2 removable stitch markers to the first stitches of the rows just for safekeeping. The next step will be to take some really sharp snips to cut the yarn on the row that's in between the 2 needles, which you can see me doing here. You can see those are really sharp snips, so I can really get in there. And just make sure to be very careful of which yarn you are cutting, which is why I marked those stitches with the stitch markers. And I'm just going to do a little snip here, and then I will proceed to pull out that row and separate the 2 sections of sweater. Once the sweater is separated into 2 sections, I will then pick up and knit from the top section another row. Why am I only doing 1 row? Because I was missing 2. Well, we are then going to graft together the 2 sections using Kitchener stitch, and the Kitchener stitch actually adds another row. So 1 row of knitting, 1 row of Kitchener stitch will give me my 2 rows that I had missed at the beginning of the knit. All in all, this isn't too bad. It actually worked out really well. It took me a little bit of time. It was a little bit of a challenge for me, but I actually kind of enjoyed that challenge. I don't know if that's good or bad, because I sometimes like to challenge myself. But anyway, end result, got it fixed. No one will ever know. It'll be our secret. Don't tell anybody. Super happy with it. What else can I say about it? I don't know. It was one of the Rhinebeck sweaters several years ago. But I don't know. I haven't been, I guess, knitting all the trendy stuff. I like stuff and I buy the pattern sometimes, and then I wait and I knit that when I'm ready. So, but I am having a good time knitting this. I just need to now start on the sleeves, but I was trying to work on my Tolsta T, and so I put this down for a little bit. Melissa's still working on her body, so I'll maybe wait till she gets done with her body and then we'll do the sleeves together. I think I'm going to go ahead and make long sleeves on it. So. Which is what's called for in the pattern, and it'll be a nice sweater for winter here. So that's what's on my needles. So I mentioned that I was going to show a quilt. This is a quilt top that I had finished called the Ivy Quilt, and it's a pattern by Erica Jackman. And I bought this as a kit, and it was all pre-cut, which was really, really pretty nice, I gotta admit. Show it. And so it's Christmas fabrics, so I kind of did it, finished it up with the Christmas in July thing, and you can see, so there's all kinds of Christmas motifs. There's snowmen, little Christmas villages, some gingerbread and Christmas cookies, more villages. And it was a fun pattern to piece together. It's kind of hard to show. I made the what's called the lap size quilt, which is 55 inches by 64, I think. So you can see it. It's hard to show a quilt. But yeah, so I thought this would be fun to get quilted up. I think that I'm going to send it out to have it quilted. I don't really enjoy actually doing the quilting, and it takes me a long time. So I think I'm going to send it out to have it quilted. But I thought it would be fun to have it done for Christmas this year, to have out on our patio, because I thought it was fun colors for an outdoor area for Christmas. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I wanted to provide a little tip. One of my customers actually told me this for my shop, for my Etsy shop. So I sell these little stitch stoppers. And she gave me the idea to put them on to the tips of your snips when you put them in your bag to protect your stuff in the bag. So if you have any spare stitch stoppers, you don't know what to do with them, or you want to put a pair of scissors in your bag, use one of your stitch stoppers. Works really well, and it protects your items in your bag and your bag from being scissors from poking through on your bag. So good little tip there. Hi Mom, what are you up to now?
Hi Elizabeth, hi knitters. I just wanted to show you my latest 1,000-piece puzzle that I finished. It's a beautiful Victorian house. It's called Cape Side Victorian. It's 1,000 pieces and it's a foil puzzle. It's the first time I've ever worked one, and it was very difficult because of the coloring on the puzzle wasn't the same as the coloring as when you were working it. But it turned out really pretty. I almost would like to frame it. And if any of you are puzzle people, maybe you could get one of these. It's called Cape Side Victorian, and it's by Gallison. And we ordered them on Amazon. So thanks for listening. Just wanted to share this with you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the foil is a little bit hard to see, but like this bit in here is foiled, and then the trim along here, it's hard to catch it on the video. But cool puzzle. I really like it. It's very pretty. All right, Mom, good job. On to the next one. So that's my content for today. I hope you found something to inspire you. I hope you got some work done on a project you might have been working on, or you just sat back and relaxed. Either way, it's all good. I truly enjoy sharing all of my makes with you, and appreciate you sticking by and watching. I enjoy all the comments that people leave. I've had so many nice comments. Someone invited me to come out to Seattle and could stay in an apartment above her garage, which was so sweet. Seattle is actually high up on my list to come to. I really want to go to Flock maybe next year and just do a yarn crawl trip out there, because I've never been out to Washington State, and it's high up on my list of places to visit. So but anyway, and I just enjoyed, a lot of people said they were making ranunculuses. A few people said they hadn't made one yet, but were thinking about it, because I showed those last time. And yeah, it's such a great pattern. And then the Wilfreda, someone mentioned the Wilfreda, and I love that pattern. I've made 2 of them. I have actually talked a couple of my friends into making them, and in fact, 2 of the girls at the lake house ordered yarn while they were sitting out on the dock to make that. So that was kind of cute. Now I'm itching to make another one too of those. So we'll see. And I have plenty of yarn to do so. And it's just a great fitting sweater. So if you haven't checked out the Wilfreda, do that. And also some really good suggestions were provided to me for my green yarn that I showed last time for a cardigan, and I'm seriously considering that jean cardigan, I think it was, that someone suggested. So yeah, I just appreciate all the interaction. And as I'm growing my channel, I appreciate all the comments. And if you are so inclined, if you found something here that you liked, if you enjoyed any of the content here today, I'd appreciate if you could take the time to give me a thumbs up, because it really does help for me to grow the channel. I have a few things that coming up this week. My sister and my 17-year-old niece are coming in from California on Tuesday, and so I'm so excited. They are kind of making an unexpected trip, but they may be moving here next year, so I'm super excited of the potential of that. As long as my sister can get a job here. She's actually a principal of a Waldorf school, but she's thinking of going back into the public school and maybe just back into teaching, or possibly a principal, but maybe just back into teaching. So as long as she can get a job here next year, which pretty good chances that she'll be able to, they're going to probably move. So I'm super excited about that. And anyway, so they're coming to visit on Tuesday, so I'm really excited about that. And I might try to get them to shoot a little bit of video with me so you can meet them. My niece is the reason that I started my Etsy shop. So a couple of years ago, she was going to Italy for a school trip, and she needed to raise some money. So I said, if she helped me, that I would set up an Etsy shop and I would make a donation to her trip, which I did, and she had a great time on that trip. I think she was there for 2 weeks. So anyway, and then I just continued my shop because I really actually enjoy making things. So we have some big plans when they're here too. We are going to create some new stitch markers. I bought a bunch of new beads. We're going to do some beaded stitch markers. We might do some clay ones. I don't know. We're just going to have a day of crafting, which will be really fun. So maybe I'll shoot some video of all of that as well. And okay, well, I am going to sign off now. Again, thanks for sticking by and watching. Appreciate spending time with you, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Until the next time, I hope that you continue to find joy in your making, whether it's knitting, crocheting, anything else you might be doing craft-wise. Keep that creativity going, and I will catch up with you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.